Hey, so what should we talk about today? Well, I was thinking about something today because today is a Thursday for me, and normally on a Thursday I'd be going for my run, and I'd also be going to Muay Thai kickboxing class in the evening. But I'm still pretty sick, and it's a pain in the ass because I really want to actually get back on track. But it's the most frustrating thing when you can't get back on track when you're ready to. So I can't really run today. Been coughing up all kinds of crap and just yeah, not a good idea. So I'm gonna have to put that off. As you may know or not know, my shoulder has been messed up as well, so it's been messing me up with the lifting, and I hadn't been able to lift for a while. I'm not gonna like drone on about that, but what I want to talk about is kind of what I've been thinking about lately, is because with all that going on in the short term, I'm panicking, right? I'm panicking. I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm getting fat. I'm losing muscle. I'm not exercising. I'm losing my conditioning, right? I'm developing bad habits of not exercising. I'm getting lazy. Like all these things, like all this panic mode is going on in my head, and I'm like, oh fuck, I can't do anything about it. And what I started to realize, and sort of to calm myself down and make me realize that it's not as big of a deal. Not that I want to like treat all this stuff lightly, right? But because if you do that, you're definitely going to be bound for disaster in life. But I started thinking about like that this is a short period of time, and in say a year's period of time or 6 months, none of this will matter, right? Like I can be completely out of this hole that I'm in right now in 6 months time or in a year worth of time, and it's not really going to matter, right? I mean, it'd be the same thing as if like I had shoulder surgery, or I got injured, got in a car accident or something, and I had no control. I mean, suppose that I got in a car accident and I was literally unable to go to the gym at all or to run. I was in a cast, a full body cast for like 3 months, right? What would I do? I mean, I would have to deal with that situation, right? I would not be able to, it would just be time that will have to pass, and I'll have to get past, right? But in 1 year, I could be just in the perfect condition that I wanted to be. I could be back on track, running again and lifting and doing everything. And so the same thing I had to just tell myself is like that, in a few months, right, I can be back on track, right? And I think that's so critical because in the short term, I'm panicking. I'm like, oh, I'm losing all this stuff. And it makes me disheartened, right? It makes me lose hope, right? And when you lose hope, that's a very bad thing, okay? That's, the kind of the hallmark of being depressed, of depression. But losing hope is really the most dangerous thing. Because once you lose hope, I think then it's very hard to get the motivation. It's very hard to get on track. And so right now, what I've started doing, at least, what I've been exercising today, is really thinking about, okay, this is all just like short-term setback. I need to do damage control as much as possible here, so that I'm not like going crazy and causing myself to have a much bigger hole to get out of. But instead, I'm gonna kind of relax, because it's not gonna matter. Like if I missed lifting weights for even a month of time, right? It really wouldn't matter in the long term, like 3 months down the road, because I'm not gonna. I would of course lose some strength. I would of course lose some of the gains, right? But it's not going to totally mess me up. Now, there are things that can totally mess me up, like eating like shit for like 3 months of a time. That could totally mess me up, because that could take a long time to undo that damage. So really what I've been focusing on is like, what are the things, and kind of dividing things, right, in my mind, like almost drawing a line down and saying, what are the things that are like in the short term extremely destructive, right? And what are the things that are in the short term doesn't really matter, okay? So, if I were to draw that line down my page, right, on the left-hand side, on the extremely destructive, it would be like developing a habit of eating shit every day, like like fast food, right? So what I have to make sure is that, I'm not doing the things on the left-hand side, right? So that would be bad, okay? So I'm not going to do that, okay? But I could draw on the right-hand side at the same time, eating a little bit above maintenance, or eating, not skipping the one meal a day for a few days, things like that. Those aren't so bad. It's not going to make much of a difference, okay? Not really going to matter that much, okay? On the left-hand side, I could put things like, closing or abandoning business deals or projects, right? Stop doing YouTube videos, like stuff like that, where it has a catastrophic effect, right? Stopping completely or shutting down my channel, okay? On the right-hand side, it could be things like, missing a couple of videos, not getting 2 videos out a day every single day, all right? Same thing I could put with lifting, right? I could put, missing a couple of workouts, lifting workouts, not a big deal. Okay, really not a big deal, not going to matter that much. But on the left-hand side would be, things like, I don't know, like, how about getting injured? How about forcing it, like being sick or being injured in the gym and forcing it heavy and getting seriously injured and being out for like 4 or 5 months, right? So I've been kind of trying to divide things up into that so that I realize what is serious and what's not, right? Because I have a lot of, I'm kind of OCD in the respect that I've got a lot of habits, a lot of things that I do, right? From reading books, I read so many books per week, and running, and like all these things that I've kind of built up in my life that I do to keep myself mentally sharp and mentally tough, and to keep my physique and to keep myself the way I like. And I haven't been able to do a lot of that stuff, right? And again, I'm not in any kind of dire situation, right? I'm pretty healthy, aside from being a little bit sick and being somewhat injured and falling off the wagon, having just mentally fallen off the wagon for a little bit too. But what I'm saying is that, like, I have to keep that in mind. Otherwise, it becomes really easy to get sucked into this, this whole this hopeless despair, where you're like, oh, I didn't read a book today, so I fucked up my life. Or I didn't go to the gym today, so I fucked up my life, right? Those things don't matter on a short-term basis. Now, if we took that same list, right? So here's another concept to think about. On the long-term basis, it's sort of, those things really do matter, right? So on the short-term basis, right, when I made that list, everything on the right-hand side, it wasn't really a big deal. But on the long-term basis, right, we could talk about, missing workouts, missing lifting workouts. That's going to make a huge difference over time, right? Eating a little bit of above maintenance, doing that for like a year, that's going to make a huge difference over time, right? Not reading books, right? It's going to make a huge difference over time of how many books that I read total, and how much that I'm advancing my knowledge and my education, right? And how much I'm stagnating, right? So all those things, they do matter, but they don't matter in the short term. And so I think by having that perspective and realizing that, okay, it's a cumulative effect. It's this compounding effect of these small things over time that you're mostly consistent, right? I did this video on being like 90% consistent, I think, and it's the same kind of concept here. But yeah, so that's what I've been focusing on today, is kind of just an exercise in thinking things out and thinking, okay, you know what? The short term might be kind of screwed right now. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not doing what I want to do. That's fine, but where will I be in 6 months, right? And to say, okay, it's almost like this. I can't win the short game, all right? But I can win the long game. So right now, I have to kind of abandon, like, I had short-term goals. I had like, okay, around this time of this year, I want to be doing this. I want to be doing this competition, competing here. It's not going to happen, okay? But that's fine. Instead, I need to just project out and say, okay, well, where can I be in 6 months? Where do I want to be in 6 months, right? Or where do I want to be even in 3 months? Or where do I want to be 1 year from now? And to take all my effort and everything I'm focusing on and making it all towards that goal, as opposed to the short-term goal where I'm going to be frustrated, where I don't have control, where it's going to be too extreme to be able to move the needle enough, right? But I have so much control right now. I have a huge amount of leverage over where I'm going to end up in 6 months, and you do as well, right? So that's the thing. It's like, I think, my advice to you, to myself as well, would be, when you get into this kind of situation, you've got these setbacks and whatnot, you got to be willing and ready to abandon the short-term goal and say, okay, it's not going to happen. All right, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to waste all my energy trying to hit the short-term goal that is unlikely at this point, and instead say, okay, there's this mark 6 months out. I've got a lot of leverage that I can still bend the metal, okay? I can still move things to the 6 month mark, to the year mark out. I've got a huge amount of leverage. There's a lot I can do just by making small incremental changes and doing small things, compounding every single day, that are going to greatly affect and have a huge impact on my goals from 1 year from now. So sometimes that's just what you got to do. And I'm kind of learning this the hard way. I've always been able to kind of shape my goals for the short term and be able to hit what I want to hit. And I haven't, I've had very few times in life where I've been like held back from being able to do it, externally as well as internally. And I'm at that spot right now, so I just have to, figure out a way to adapt. So anyway, hopefully you found this useful. This is a little bit of rambling, but I want to be, real with you guys and share what's going on and what I'm really thinking about these situations. So if you've got some ideas, I'd love to hear them. And make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.